to Professor Earl Henderson.
Thank you, dear sister. Thank you, especially for the 320 Coalition they've been doing. All the folks in the community, school, all the students. It's just a beautiful, it's a historic thing we're doing here. I've been in Penn State since 2002. There's never been anything like it. I dealt with then had just organized what's called the Village. Those are the students I worked with then. Knife in my house any damn time I want to have a knife in my house. He's in his house. He just came from the grocery store. What you think he doing with a knife? I asked his mother. Would it be his habit after coming from the grocery store to cut up the groceries to prepare food like anybody else would? He don't have to explain what he's doing with a knife. But I would suggest he's probably cutting up his groceries. How many times you cutting up something, somebody knock on the door, you go to the door with what you got in your hand? White supremacism won't just teach you what to think, it'll teach you how to think. If you start off with a nigga with a knife, you're gonna come up with what is justified. Start with what you think you know about Osaze Osagie. You ever had a knife in your house? You've been arrested for having a knife in your house? You see how ridiculous it sounds from the beginning. And this is just taking the police's story. I asked the assistant police chief, did they check the knife? He said, for what? For blood? I said, no, celery. Something's cutting up. There was never any independent investigation. All the investigations involved the police or agents of the district attorney's office. What you know about Osaze Osagie? What you think you know? Coming to the door with a knife after coming home with his groceries. I say the man's cutting up his groceries. What you say? The police said they yelled at him, screamed at him, put down the knife in his little apartment. Said he ran at them faster than any human they'd seen. In his little apartment, they yelled at him repeatedly, put down the knife, put down the knife, put down the knife, repeatedly. We just taking the police story. The roommate said he wasn't awakened by no screams. He wasn't awakened by put down the knife, put down the knife, put down the knife. It's a small apartment. Did you know there's a roommate who was sleeping? You know what the roommate said woke him? Gunshots. Not officers screaming, put down the knife, gunshots. We just taking the police story. What you know about Osaze Osagie? He was killed here. There's never been an investigation, an independent one. He's got a knife in his house after returning to his house with groceries. The police said they yelled at him repeatedly before they shot him. In a small apartment, the shots of policemen did not awaken his roommate. I asked the assistant police chief, did you interview the roommate? You know what he said? It's all public. He said, no, why should he? That's what he said. You'd have heard it if you listened to Alexis Wainwright's broadcast on WJAC. She's not there anymore. But like most of the news outlets here, they're owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, a right-wing outfit, Trump supporters, right-wing. So that's the news you get. But at least that sister told that story and reported on what the police chief said. In the Daily Collegian, the story about that event, the writer started talking about the clothes we had on. The clothes we had on. Did he just say the clothes we had on? That's what they wrote about? That's what they wrote about. What you know about Osaze Osagie. Because if you knew you would be with the 320 Coalition. If you knew, you'd be outraged that it's done in your name. The police are not a hired military. I know at 17 I was in the U.S. Army. I don't speak for nobody but myself. But if you got to kill civilians, you need a different job. Most police have never killed a person. Most police have never fired a weapon. You kill a man on a health care check, a welfare check from their father, and you kill them? Who is the person that killed them? We don't know. They refuse to tell us. They're servants of the people. The police work for us. So if you call someone makes a welfare check for one of you all, they may be getting Officer 1 at their door. We have a right to know that. Who is Officer 1? Who's going to tell us? Well, the DA, of course, Cortana. Look at the presentation when he released the first non-independent investigation. What did he say? His words. You ain't even hearing Henderson yet. It's their stuff. He said it was a tragedy. The killing of Osaze Osagie, an innocent black man in his house. He said it was a tragedy for the Osagie family. And in perfect Donald Trump style, he said it was also a tragedy for the policemen who killed them. He said that. It's on the video. Now you gotta look at the whole video. If you just go to the WJAC version, the Sinclair Broadcasting, they cut off that first part. At the first part, he said, it's a tragedy for the Osagie family and for the officer that killed them. I'm not making this up. What you know about Osaze Osagie? You know about George Floyd, and you should. You know about Breonna Taylor, and you should. This happened right where you are. What do you know about Osaze Osagie? And what do you do about it? These folks, Sister Tierra, Sister Nanre, Melanie Morrison, all these sisters and brothers here, they organized to do honor and justice to Osaze Osagie. Look here. White supremacism won't just teach you what to think, it'll teach you how to think. Don't accept the frame they give you. If you accept the frame, you're going to accept the conclusions. Don't accept the frames they give you. That's why I wrote that op-ed that students published, Being Black at Penn State. There's been 3% black faculty at Penn State for 30 years. That was published a year and a half ago, not this January, the January before. Google it, Being Black at Penn State. I asked folks, just ask the university, is what Henderson said true? That's all. The students then, editing the paper, they investigated it, and then they published it. Look at what they say. They speak stronger than I did. Look at what the editors say. Different editors now. They ain't the same. Oh, Lord, they ain't the same. Look at what those students said. I was the only tenured African-American professor in the history of the political science department. In its history. How long is that? They was teaching political science when Atherton was here. Yes, Atherton, the one the streets named out. That's how long ago, over 100 years. I'm the first one. I tell folks I'm brilliant, I ain't that damn brilliant. The US had a black president before the political science department at Penn State tenured a black full professor. Last year, they tenured 2, so I guess the problem's over. They problem 2. 2 of them. I've been here since 2002. Where they come from? Where they find some magic Negroes? And those 2 are excellent scholars. I want to be clear. They are excellent scholars. And they were excellent scholars we tried to recruit before. Look here. They got all this money now. They got all these task force now. They will task force your ass to death.
Yep.
They're good at it. They'll wait you out. You know how many damn task force I've been on since I've been here in 2002? About 2010, I said, I ain't doing this no more. Why? The technical term is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need no task force. You don't need no damn student code of conduct. You a grown-ass woman and man. We never accepted that. Why? Because they'll only use it against you.
Yeah.
They'll call me because I just used profanity. You reciting a rap lyric that got the N-word in it, they're going to cite you. They're not going to get them white supremacists. Just like when you see those so-called parties, when it's supposed to be a requirement for masks. You know they white when they say students. Because if they wasn't white, they'd be black students. They'd be brown, red, yellow. There'd be some adjective on it. When it's general like that, it's white. When it's fraternities, sororities, they white. Because if they was black fraternities and sororities, you know it. Who's receiving the discipline? We don't have that data disaggregated by race. I've gone to these officers complaining about white students acting a damn fool in my class. Punishment. Rare, if ever. In fact, they rarely even contact me to let me know the disposition of a case I bring. Meanwhile, they call the police on black students. Who do you think they're going to use that code of conduct again? Who? You grown-ass people. You don't need no parents here. You're not going to win the case anyway because you got freedom of speech in the United States. But they'll involve you in task force after task force. I can't count how many I've been on. Listen to it. In 2010, I stopped because it's bullshit. The Affirmative Action Office should be headed by a lawyer from either the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, MALDEF, because the discipline is coming down, and what they're going to do as soon as you all leave, the students leave, because that's what they want, to keep you content till they get you the hell out of here. I wrote Being Black at Penn State a year and a half ago. What's changed? How come Penn State's got so much initiative now for representation for African Americans? Only thing they did with me, at the end of my article, read it. It says those of us who challenge this racist, hostile climate, we ourselves get charged with creating the racial hostile climate. And that's exactly what happened to me. A year and a half ago. But Dr. Higgins, there must be something going on. You still here. May not be here tomorrow. You know what went on? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the 320 Coalition, the rally around the life and justice for Osaze Osagie. The fear that people in this town would be not just woke up, but would move. And the 320 Coalition, there's so many others. Community folk come out here, thousands in these streets in the summer. I'm not talking about when the students back here. Some of these marches were organized by high school students. That's what changed. Now all of a sudden they got $10 million to hire African Americans. Where all this money come from? It's been there from the beginning. Just like the $5 million Barron got to get a private elevator at Beaver Stadium. It gets you preoccupied with the wrong damn questions. And get you convinced you're doing something. You're just task forcing. They'll make another committee and another committee, ones you don't even remember. What's important is the strategy. How do you get what you want to get? It's not a tragedy for both sides. There wasn't an independent investigation. Osaze Osagie was an innocent person in his own house.
Who's also a nice person.
Don't get struck. Don't get sidetracked by the frame they give you. And don't be no damn Amy Cooper in Central Park. There'll be some. They'll leave here. They'll leave here, Sister Naira. And they'll say, Dr. Henderson, his tone was really angry. I don't think a professor should be, that's what it'll be.
Well.
You'll be like, what about all the substance of what he said? Well, no, I understand that. I'm with you. It's just how he says it. He's so angry. And that becomes the discussion.
Well.
The tone, the clothes we have on.
Well.
What do you know about Osaze Osagie? You think I'm talking to you. That's what you take to these folks.
Mm-hmm.
They actually saying that there's been an independent investigation. No, there hasn't. Never been one. They bring a big old black super Negro there to tell you that there was nothing racial that went on. Come on. Just like that DA in Kentucky with Breonna Taylor. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between the DA in Kentucky, Cameron, he's black, and Keith Ellison in Minnesota, he's black. We also went to undergrad together, and we used to work together organizing the peace among the gangs, Keith Ellison and I. Mm-hmm. That was back in the day. You got some people with some rich history. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you want people who talk the way I talk, or at least do what folks here do. Not these BS people that Mrs. Parks is wrote. That's who she's telling me about. She don't like people who talk about what they did in their day. I give less than a damn you marched with King in '63. Where were you 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I didn't make that up. Mrs. Rosa Parks taught me that. You see? So when we come out here, what you are doing here, see the history you're about. What Sister Tiara said, 70 million Americans voted for that white supremacist who's still there. Mm-hmm. At 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Nope, that ain't the name of the street no more. 1600 Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. You see? This is the change you're making. Don't let people convince you that you're not making this change. But I tell you one thing, white folks could end white supremacism tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why? Because that's who maintains it.
Yep.
When you're younger, you may be resistant. They say when white folks get older, they get less toward overturning or even talking about overturning white supremacy. Why? Because you begin to profit from it. There's no mystery to it. I don't need no psychological study. When I talk about this in my class, I don't put people in a circle. I got no voodoo for you. I talk about white supremacy the way I talk about World War II. You see, it's a lecture. Challenging white supremacism. You know what it is. I'm not sitting up here wasting my time on no anti-racist training. What the hell is that? You want to be stop being racist. It's no mystery. Malcolm told folks, he said, you talk about, Lord, forgive them, they know not what they do. While they putting the rope around your neck. Long as they've been doing it, they know exactly what they're doing. They're really good at being white supremacists. Did he say 3% black faculty for 30 years? People say, well, it's because of ignorance. Who do you think making those policies? People's in these offices, administrators at the university. Most of them got PhDs. They're not uneducated. I don't mean to be disparaging, just want to make a point here. The custodial staff is not making these policies to make 3% black faculty for 30 years. You got to demystify this stuff. Don't accept what they're telling you. Because they convince you to accept the status quo as inevitable, you can't make change. I got to say something to the white folks out here, especially. In 1964 Freedom Summer, whites were invited to the South to assist the black liberation struggle. This summer and now, the white folks here, you didn't wait on no invitation. You came on your own. You're not the same. You're the germ of the change. You're the main ingredient for the change. The transformation of white supremacism begins with white folks like you just being white, but redefining what white is. White is not accepting white supremacism. You're not the same. Don't let people minimize what you're doing. Don't let people reduce it to some woke shit. And don't come out here being no servant to some back. Hey, I gotta watch my language. Don't be out here following some ignorant person whose skin may be tanned. No. Learn about the old Uzo. She's a white woman. Killed, ferrying black folks from it's in, I'm blocking on the name, in Mississippi. It's like, I'm thinking of the next one I'm about to say, which is Marilyn Buck. But when they shot her in the car with a black boy, she was shot in the head by a member of the Ku Klux Klan who was also an FBI informant in the car. Because the FBI was with the Ku Klux Klan. You see? He put his head on her, the blood on her head, and that's the only reason they didn't kill him. Paola Uzo, she was a single mother from Detroit with several children. Marilyn Buck, she white all her life. That's a revolutionary. She helped in the liberation of Osagie Shakur. Sekou Odinga, a political prisoner for almost 40 years, helped liberate Osagie Shakur. He's out now. Students, organizations, use the university funds to invite these people here and then pay them to present. Invite the community organizers from Philly, from Detroit, from Philly and Pittsburgh, Detroit too, all the way to Los Angeles, hey, Kiev in Ukraine. Invite them here, have the university pay them. They give you these millions of dollars for parties because they expect you not to know what the hell to do with it. How do you support these efforts? By funding them. You have these resources. Where the hell they just go get $10 million for black professors? If they had $10 million or were devoting that to us 20 years ago, we could have had more black professors here. What changed? George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Osaze Osagie. That's what changed. See? Being black at Penn State, I wrote that a year and a half ago, not this last January, January before last. Just ask them, is what Henderson said true? What's happened to him? Where does this all new commitment come from? Because let me tell you something. The names I just said, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, they didn't live here. They didn't go to Penn State. Where's this initiative from? It's to control you. To control you. To convince you there's nothing you can do. What these rabble rousers are saying and doing is incorrect. No. What did I start this off with? What the police said. Just taking them at their word. So Dr. Henderson, why not? You must be a good lecturer. I haven't seen you look at your phone for notes or nothing. Because I've been saying this shit so many times and for so long. The 320 Coalition even longer. In more venues. Much of it alone. Many of you have come out, bring other folks out. But look here, don't be convinced power is in numbers. No. Power is power. It's just relative capability. That's all. Don't demystify this stuff. What you want are committed cadres of people with a common objective. Don't be disappointed if you think there are not enough people there. Reject that. The modern civil rights movement, February 1st, 1960, 4 people on lunch counter. 4. 2 students at Merritt College in Oakland, California, created the Black Panther Party. 2 students did that. And Toussaint Louverture in Haiti is leading a revolution, and he's 60. So don't tell me you gotta be this age or this age. No, you need to go back and study something. I wrote a book called The Revolution Will Not Be Theorized. It's free. My last 2 books have been free. Google it. You can read it free online. If you want me to send you a PDF, send me an email. I'll send that to you too. I get in trouble at these places for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. The main reason is I don't suffer white supremacists gladly, and I don't take shit from them, but I don't walk around looking for it either. I'm not big and bad or nothing like that. Nothing like that. I try to talk and reason, but many of these folks will treat you like you have no dignity. Wow. Most of these folks have denied that there's racism at Penn State University for years. And they get Negroes to co-sign it. Most of the people doing this are overwhelmingly white men. The second group that's mostly doing it are overwhelmingly white women. Like the overwhelming white women in the electorate who support Trump. And then these people will turn and talk about what the black vote didn't do. Waiting for the black vote in Philly to save the Democratic Party. Waiting for the black vote in Detroit to save the Democratic Party. But when they're recruiting, when they're trying to get people, what they say? We got to get the suburban soccer moms. That's what's so important.
Yo.
Wow. The ones in Bucks County, we got to get the suburban. Stacey Abrams arrested 800,000 voters in Georgia. 800,000. But you'll see it as soon as the media comes. Who they gonna blame? Black folks just didn't turn out like they did for Obama. Gosh darn it. Maybe if Joe Biden played basketball as well as Obama. Gosh darn it. Oh, fucking A. Had it. You reject the frame. I teach political science, study political phenomena. We can demystify this stuff. Right now, objectives right in front of you. Justice for Osaze Osagie is right in front of you. Ask me anything. I'll tell you one thing. If you're a reporter from WJAC, the Center Daily Times, or the Daily Collegian, don't even come up to me. Don't even come up to me. This is, the media are complicit in this, and it ain't just Fox News. Sinclair Broadcasting that controls the channels here, the local channels here. What was it, the night before last? Doing COVID? And you all out here doing COVID as well, bless you. Doing COVID, and at the election, you know what the first story was on WJAC? Eric Trump. He's not even President Trump. Not that it would be better. He's not even elected official. That's the first one they showed. So you deserve, these broadcast airways are yours too. Reclaim this. Reclaim this. So when we talk about justice, we don't get sidetracked. As soon as they ask you one of them sidetracked bullshit questions, question them. Or just keep stepping and support media that does tell accurate news. Look here, what do you know about Osaze Osagie? What do you think you know? And if you know better now, act on what you know. Act on your knowledge. Black Lives Matter.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
How's everyone doing tonight? Hoping for some good news.
Yes, please.
Praying for it. So we've been doing this a while. Thank you so much, Professor Henderson. And tonight we're trying to mix things up. We're going to do something a little bit different. So we are going to occupy this space. And we're going to occupy it as long as we can, hopefully for 24 hours. But we need all of you to be here with us. We need bodies. We need you to call your friends. We have movies. We have food. We have music. We have songs, we have everything, and we want to occupy this space because we want to let them know that this is not going to be the end. We're not just going to be walking around the streets every day without getting our objectives met. When we mean we want justice for Osaze, we mean we want what?
Justice for Osaze!
And we're not playing around anymore. We're going to make this happen. So over here, we have a sign-up sheet. If you have signed up, we have 2-hour slots. Please sign up for as many as you can. The most important thing is to hold the fort tonight. We have some tents. If you need tents, if you want to go get your tent, your sleeping bag, you're welcome to do so. If you need a tent or a blanket, you can also let us know. If you just want to hang around and just relax and stay with us and play with us and occupy space with us, you're welcome to do that for as long as possible. So I'm going to go over there and sign up, and I hope the rest of you will also come and sign up. Call your friends. Let's make this an occupation. We're not going to forget Osaze, and we're not going to stop until we get justice. Thank you.
What do you mean about a tent and stuff? What do you mean by a tent and stuff?
People are staying overnight here.
I can't do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Whoever
I'm
can
sorry.
stay. Yeah, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Can I go?
When you're signing up, just do first
I'm
name
gonna
or
stay.
initials or your nickname. All right. So we understand that having an occupation like this is a big thing. There are a lot of factors to be taken into consideration. So as part of this, we have come up with 5 different teams that are going to serve really important functions throughout the occupation. The first team is health and facilities. So Jupiter from Health and Facilities is going to come up here and discuss a little bit about what that group is going to do. We're going to go through each one of the groups so that you are aware of the resources that you have here while you're occupying with us. Jupiter?
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Good? Perfect. Hi, I'm Jupiter. So I'm in charge of first aid for at least until 11, and we'll be trading out with some folks as the occupation goes on. I'm going to be over there in that middle table most of the night, but I also have a pink bandana, and you will see these pink bandanas on other people around here. That's the security team. If you need anything first aid-wise, go to one of them and they can come find me if I'm not at that table. I also have COVID-19 safety supplies like hand sanitizer, I have extra masks, I have gloves, one other thing, sanitizing wipes. So if you need anything with regards to like COVID safety, please come see me. I have supplies for you. Cuts, bruises, anything like that, come see me. I'll be over there or easily findable.
Thank you, Jupiter. So occupying a space for 24 hours means that we need to be careful. We need to be aware of our surroundings, and we have a team that is put in place for security. So we have Oliver that's going to be coming up here to discuss what we have in place to make sure that during the duration of the occupation, everyone here is safe. So Oliver?
How do we go to the bathroom?
Oh yeah, Jupiter. Hey, Oliver.
Oh, there's a porta potty at the parklet? Is that?
Hi, how's it going? Glad you're all out here. Just like kind of Jupiter was talking about, one of the things that we do at all events and demonstrations is we try to self-organize our own ways of keeping ourselves safe. And we call that community defense. And so we have a goal of, when we do these events, we know that we're a target. We know that the police don't want us to do this. We know that right-wing vigilantes and counter-protesters and people who don't want change don't want us to do this, right? So we have to organize ourselves in a way that we can defend these spaces from those threats. So we kind of practice and train those who have a pink scarf on, but at the same time, we're asking everybody to help us with this, right? Don't be a spectator. Participate and help us. If we have someone who comes in and wants to do us harm, or the police try to come in and do us harm, help us to the best of our ability to keep this a space that's cop-free. We don't want the police here. We also don't want racist, sexist, misogynist folks here, right? I mean, if they want to come and learn, that's fine, but if they're going to behave in a way that they're doing that shit, we're not going to let that happen. So we're here to kind of be the first wave to address that. We practice and we have strategies, but we need everyone to help if those occasions arise. All right? So support us in that. If you need anything, let us know. Thank you.
Somebody asked about bathrooms. Sorry about that. That is important, isn't it? There are bathrooms over in the park, I believe, as well as if you need somebody to walk with you. I don't believe that we have access to the bathrooms here in this building, but sheets will be open all night, and if you need somebody to walk with you, I can do that, or I can find somebody to do that, especially if you were staying here overnight. I don't know if everybody here heard that. Andrew said that most campus buildings should still be open. If you have your student card, you can go in there as well, and you should be able to get access. Also, if you are not a student, grab a student and have them take you there. Oh, true. Were there any other questions I could answer while I'm still up here? Should have asked that last time.
Cool. All right, thank you, Jupiter and Oliver. So what are we gonna do for 24 hours? We're going to, so we have a team that's basically the program team and the entertainment team. So we have Jeremy that's gonna be talking about what it is that we're going to be doing during this time. So Jeremy, if you could please come up.
Hey folks, so I got a pretty good playlist, but it's like just 43 minutes of The Coup, which I love The Coup, but like I don't want to dominate this. So if anybody wants to hear any music while we're playing music, just find like the cable and like jack it. I don't think it's a big deal. You know, we got a copy of Black Panther. Figured we'd be playing that maybe around 8 o'clock when, like, I think there are a couple of kids here, so, you know, put them to bed. But then I got like 4 episodes of Good Lord Bird downloaded, which is the John Brown story that's playing on Showtime. And it's freaking awesome. He is killing racists left and right. And then, you know, we got some speeches from MLK. I figured I'd try to wake you all up with that in the morning. Keith has kindly brought a print of a bunch of like protest games. There's stuff that we can learn about like consent and consensus together, or like about avoiding like the police state and surveillance. So if you guys want to play any games, I'll try to get those on me, and I'm very recognizable. So I'll like pass them out. There's small group games and there's big group games, so we can just do whatever you guys want. Pretty much, I mean, if there's something you want to see or hear, let us know, and we'll try to make it happen. Otherwise, like, you know, try to have a good time. And I just want to be clear, I'm an anarchist. And what we're doing here is not without risk. I want everybody to be aware of that, okay? They can tell us that we are trespassing, and they could try to arrest us or try to move us out. Well, they've already locked the building. So if you wanted to go in there and get warm, because it's getting down to 44 tonight, or if you wanted to use like the restrooms, they have locked the building. But I have taped the door, so you can still get in. But that is still, I want everybody to understand, there is a risk with that, because they could again say you're trespassing. So, I mean, if you need it, it's there, but like, I just want everybody to know there's a risk too. And Maggie?
Thank you, Jeremy. All right, so during these 24 hours, obviously, we have to eat, we have to be fed, and we have to drink water. So we do have a food team. So Andrew, if you could please come up and talk about what the food team is going to be doing.
Hi, wow. So yeah, we have a food table set up over there off to my right, so your left, I think. We have potato stew going, which is vegan, and we have currently some hot cider. We try to make all of our meals have at least a vegan and or vegetarian option, and we will be having hot dogs tomorrow afternoon as our lunch, and for breakfast, which comes before lunch, we're going to be having oatmeal, coffee, and all that fun stuff. So this is an extension of some of our mutual aid efforts from several different groups here as a way of configuring and building power within our community. We do similar meals to this every Sunday on the corner over there. You may have seen us in the newspaper when there was all kinds of really shitty takes given about us from the local newspapers. But come out and have a meal with us. It's free at the very least.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, so for those of you that have children and are concerned about whether or not you can, occupy with us overnight, we actually do have a childcare group as well. So Becky's from our childcare group, and she's going to be talking about what those folks are doing.
Hey everyone, I got an important announcement. The revolution is not going to be solely adults. We need to have youngsters Mumi Jo is one of the most dedicated Black Lives Matter activists here in State College. She participates in all the protests. But unfortunately, a lot of times our mindset is that kids should just do whatever the adults are doing in the protest. But revolutionary childcare is all about how can we think about what we're doing as adults, take those lessons, like if we're gonna have a cop watch, obviously that conversation is not gonna be appropriate for a kid, at least not a 3-year-old kid necessarily. So how do we think about age-appropriate activities that offer political content and critical consciousness raising for all ages? And so this is our first attempt to have a revolutionary child care corner. It's going to be going down over there in that corner. So if you have kids but you left them at home, bring them out, and we're happy to keep them entertained and do politically intentional, really fun activities with them for the entire night. Thank you. Want to say something?
Yes! Mommy!
Mumi Jo, we want to ask you, who was Osaze?
One of our people.
He was one of our people.
Yes. Yes, Mommy.
Due to my lack of foresight, I forgot to mention that our food is actually ready. So please come eat our soup and have some cider. It's hot and delicious.
Woo woo!
All right. Thank you, Becky, Mummy, and Andrew. Yeah.
She's going to announce it, but this isn't going to go to childcare.
So I know we've said a lot about protecting the space and all of those things, but we just want to emphasize this is a safe space, and we're going to occupy this space. We are not planning to get arrested, and it is within our right to occupy this space. We had a training from our comrades in New York. They occupied City Hall. I don't know if you followed the occupation, and they managed to get the City Hall to defund the NYPD $1 billion.
Yes.
So as much as we want to be cautious, as much as we're going to be careful, we're going to be secure, we also just want you to know that we are creating the kind of society that we want in this space. So it's a safe space. It's also a democratic space. We're going to be having conversations. If there's not enough people, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to have meetings through the night. If there are things that are going on, we're going to democratically decide what we're going to do. We're going to have a People's Council. So please be with us, stay with us, join us, sign up. I haven't seen enough names up there. Make sure you sign up, have a meal, relax, and call your friends to come and join us. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Nanre. So I have a couple more things to say before I leave you all with some action steps going from here. All right, so next up we have Dustin, who's going to be talking about our cop watch. So Dustin.
All right, y'all, I'm Dustin. Bear with me here for a minute. I'm with the State College Freedom Fund, or the Center County Freedom Fund, as well as State College Cop Watch. I want to talk a little bit about filming the police. There is a mask ordinance in State College that gives the police the opportunity to stop anyone not wearing a mask. Who do you think they're going to stop? It's definitely not going to be the white college students. It is going to be students of color and people of color who are going to be cracked down. We want to take active steps to prevent this discriminatory policing. Furthermore, we live in a surveillance hellscape, so we might as well make use of it. The NSA is probably listening to me right now, and we might as well try and reverse some of that surveillance by watching the police. So, watching the police is one of the central ways we can crack down on discriminatory policing. In order to do so, when you are out and about in State College and you see the police stopping someone or interacting with one of your fellow residents, you should stay at least 6 feet away and not obstruct the police to give them an ability to harass you or an excuse to harass you. And you should take an assessment of your own risk. So if you are someone who's likely to be harassed by the police, if you're someone who has a warrant If you're someone who might have trouble getting out of jail, then maybe, you want to stay back. But stay at least 6 feet back from the police and take out your phone and start filming them. If they come up to you and ask you what you're doing and harass you, you need to say something along the lines of, I'm not obstructing you in any way. I'm only exercising my legal right to observe the police. I'm staying 6 feet away from you. And I'm on public property. So make sure you're on public property when you're doing that. If they keep harassing you, keep repeating something along those lines. So if you could all repeat after me to learn the lines so that you can practice, that would be great. I'm not obstructing you in any way.
I'm not obstructing you in any way.
I'm only exercising my legal right to observe the police.
I'm only exercising my legal right to observe the police.
I'm over 6 feet away and on public property.
I'm over 6 feet away and on public property.
So generally, just try and avoid obstructing the police. The goal is not for you to get arrested when filming the police, right? That would be kind of counterproductive. So if they bother you, explicitly say for the camera while you're filming that I'm cooperating and that I'm staying back. And if they keep coming up to you, just keep backing up and see how it goes. It should be fine. You're well within your legal rights to do it. And if you've assessed your own risk, then I'm not encouraging you to take risks that you're not ready for. So if we would all right now take out our cell phones, take out your little tweet machines here. First thing I want you to do is I want to make sure that your phone is locked with a numeric code. Do not lock your phone in with a biometric code because they can make you unlock it in the event of an arrest. They cannot, without a warrant, search your phone if it is locked with a number or a code. Second thing I want you to do is open your phone and play with the camera. So phones are getting more complicated. One of the first things I learned when starting to film the police is that when I hit the camera, it doesn't automatically open to the video camera anymore. Instead, I have to swipe over. So if we could all make sure that we're familiar with how to move to the video function, and you can you now know how to start filming. Make sure you know if it's 1 touch or 2 touches to start filming, so on and so forth. Next thing I would like you to do is I would like you to send an email to scopwatch@gmx.com. Just like write text or something like that in the subject. If you view the police engaging in discriminatory policing or anything else you find suspect, send it to us. Send us a link. We have the technology to anonymize it, and if it becomes a problem, we can post it on the web. You will not get any blowback. No one will be able to trace it. scopwatch@gmx.com. GMX, I would give a quick plug to them. They don't operate on American servers. They allow encryption much better than Google. So, finally, while you're all here, go to your Facebook and like the Center County Freedom Fund. There is nothing there right now, but we are starting a bail fund in the county, and there will be more information. We're going to try and pay people's fines, bail them out, and run campaigns against the various prisons and jails in the county in order to get more freedom, to increase our net freedom, and to increase our net liberation. So, Center County Freedom Fund and scopwatch@gmx.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
Police.
3 shots in the back.
How do you justify that?
3 shots in the back.
How do you justify that?
3 shots in the back.
How do you justify that?
Okay, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming out here. We are going to make this our space for 24 hours. Woo! Now we're going to be playing some music. We might be having fun out here, but I want no one to forget that the reason we are out here is justice for Osaze Osagie. So people might misread us as smiling and having fun, but the truth is we're making this our area. We are making this our space, and I want everyone to not only text and tweet and put it on Facebook, but start getting people to come out. Because we can occupy this space. We're gonna have music, we're gonna have food, so it's better than being downtown paying for anything anyway, right?
Yes, yes.
Let's try to get people down here to occupy this space. I want everyone here, this week, please tell someone about Osaze.
Yes.
Dr. Henderson made a really good point. What do you know about Osaze Osagie? We need to be spreading the word. Verbally, electronically, we need to be spreading the word. So I want all of you all to get on your phones, spread the word right now. Maggie is gonna end us off. But I want everybody to remember why we are out here. Say his name.
Osaze Osagie.
Say his name.
Osaze Osagie.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hot damn, how do I follow that with all my boring shit? All right. So, for those staying, we have 15 cell phone chargers that you can use. We have hand warmers, because it might get a little bit cold. So, what I want everyone to do right now is think about what team you want to be part of if you're staying. We can't do this alone. Each one of you is going to be a contributing member to this space. This is your space, this is our space, this is our collective space. So each one of you, think about what team you'd like to be part of. All right, so next, over here, like was mentioned before, we have sign-ups for different shifts. If you're not able to stay completely overnight, we do need people to stay for certain blocks of time. So please take an opportunity right now, go over, okay, in like 2 seconds, and sign up for a shift. Invite your friends. Go home after you're done signing up for a shift. Go home, get your shit, get your tent, get your sleeping bag, get your stuff, bring your books, whatever it is that you want to do, okay? Bring it here. And then meet us back, all right? So 2 things you're gonna do now. Sign up for a shift, and then make sure you also go get dinner, all right? Thanks, folks. See you in a little bit.